At Christmas, my 7-year-old daughter Lily grabbed my hand and whispered, "I am scared of Grandma." I looked at my mom. She was smiling sweetly across the festively decorated living room. But then I saw this in her hand and froze, a small glass vial with pills, carefully measuring drops into Lily's dessert plate. I didn't shout or cause a scene. I took action, quietly switching plates while maintaining my composure. I texted my friend Jenna with our emergency code. 10 minutes later, police were at the door, and the perfect family Christmas facade finally shattered into truth. Being a nurse means I understand danger when I see it. But I never expected to find it in my mother's hands, especially not directed at my daughter. Growing up in Greenfield, everyone knew Martha Stevens as the ideal grandmother. At 65, Mom remained active in our small community, volunteering at the local hospital where she once worked as a respected pharmacist. Her silver hair was always perfectly styled, her clothes immaculate. She baked cookies for school fundraisers and remembered the birthdays of every child on our street. The perfect grandmother, everyone said. When I had Lily 7 years ago, Mom stepped in without hesitation. "Focus on your career, Cora," she insisted. "I'll help with the baby." My husband Drew and I were grateful. With both of us working full-time, Mom's help allowed me to maintain my position at Memorial Hospital while Drew built his accounting business. "You're so lucky to have Martha," my coworkers would say. "Most grandmothers don't want that much responsibility." And she did take on a lot. 3 days a week, Mom would care for Lily at her house while Drew and I worked. She insisted on it, actually, refusing my suggestions of daycare or a babysitter. "Nobody can care for her like family," she'd say firmly. "I know what's best." That phrase, "I know what's best," had echoed throughout my childhood. Mom always knew best about my friends, my clothes, my food, my future. As a child, I never questioned it. As an adult, I ignored the subtle discomfort that phrase triggered. Looking back now, I should have seen the warning signs. The way Mom insisted on controlling Lily's schedule down to the minute, how she'd become agitated if we were late for a visit or pickup. The subtle criticisms about my parenting disguised as helpful advice. "Lily seems so energetic today," she'd say with a slight frown. "Perhaps you're letting her have too much sugar? I always made sure you ate properly." I'd brush these comments off. All grandparents think they know better, right? But over the past year, something had shifted. Mom's mood swings became more pronounced. She'd call multiple times a day to check on Lily, suggesting special grandmother-granddaughter days with increasing frequency. She'd buy duplicate toys for her house, telling Lily, "These are special toys that stay at Grandma's, so you'll always want to come back." The Thanksgiving incident should have been my wake-up call. Mom had insisted on hosting, as always, and became unusually agitated when I offered to bring side dishes. "I've planned everything perfectly," she snapped. "Don't interfere." During the meal, I noticed how she hovered over Lily, insisting on preparing her plate personally, measuring portions with unusual precision. "Mom, she can serve herself," I said lightly. "She's learning independence." Mom's face hardened momentarily before smoothing into a smile. "Independence is overrated for children. Structure and guidance are what they need." After Thanksgiving, Lily began making excuses when it was time to visit Grandma. This was new. She'd always loved her grandmother. "My tummy hurts," she'd say, "or I'm too tired." Vague complaints I initially attributed to normal childhood phases. Then last week, while sorting through Lily's backpack for school papers, I found something that made my blood run cold. A page torn from a small diary, written in my daughter's crooked handwriting. "Grandma gave me special candy again today. It made my tummy feel bad and I got so sleepy. I told her I didn't want it, but she said, 'Good girls take their candy. I don't want to be a bad girl.'" I sat on Lily's bed, the paper trembling in my hands, as everything suddenly began to make terrible sense. "Lily, sweetheart, can you tell me about this special candy Grandma gives you?" I asked the next morning, keeping my voice casual as I braided her hair for school. Her little body tensed. "Am I in trouble?" "No, honey, not at all. I just want to know. She hesitated, fingers twisting nervously in her lap. Grandma says it's special medicine to help me be good. It tastes yucky, but she says only good girls take their medicine without complaining. My fingers froze mid-braid. Does she give you this medicine every time you visit? Lily nodded. Sometimes when I get excited or loud, she says I need extra to calm my wild spirit. She mimicked Mom's precise tone perfectly. After I take it, I get really sleepy, and everything feels fuzzy. Sometimes I don't remember playing. Alarm bells screamed in my head, but I kept my expression neutral. As a nurse, I recognized the symptoms Lily described. Drowsiness, confusion, memory gaps, classic signs of sedation. Does Daddy know about this medicine? I asked carefully. Lily shook her head. Grandma says it's our special secret. She says you and Daddy wouldn't understand because you don't know about medicine like she does. That night after Lily went to bed, I told Drew everything. You're overreacting, he said, barely looking up from his laptop. It's probably just some herbal thing or children's vitamins. Your mom was a pharmacist, for God's sake. She knows what's safe. That's what worries me, I insisted. She has knowledge and access. Drew, Lily described being sedated. He sighed, finally closing his computer. Cora, this is your mother we're talking about. The woman who makes Lily heart-shaped pancakes and reads her 3 bedtime stories. You think she's what? Drugging our daughter? When he put it that way, it did sound ridiculous. But something deep in my memory stirred, flashes of my own childhood. Mom measuring my food portions with scientific precision. The bitter taste of special tea when I was too energetic. The afternoons lost to inexplicable naps. I'm not saying that exactly, I backpedaled. But something isn't right. Drew rubbed his temples. You've been working too much. These night shifts are making you paranoid. Maybe he was right. Maybe my stressful job was making me see problems where none existed. But maternal instinct told me otherwise. The next day at work, I confided in my friend Jenna during our break. Unlike Drew, she didn't immediately dismiss my concerns. Your mom was a pharmacist with hospital access, she said thoughtfully. Has Lily had any physical symptoms? Unusual rashes, stomach issues, behavioral changes? She's been more withdrawn lately, and she's had some stomach complaints after visiting Mom. Jenna leaned forward. You need evidence, Cora. Next time Lily visits your mother, document everything. Take photos if you see anything suspicious. Hell, put a nanny cam in your mom's house if you have to. I can't spy on my mother, I protested. Can you live with yourself if something happens to Lily because you were too polite to investigate? Her words haunted me. That weekend, I drove past Mom's house and noticed her garbage cans at the curb. After dark, feeling like a criminal, I returned and quickly rifled through her recycling. Among the newspapers and food containers, I found 3 empty prescription bottles, with the labels carefully removed. A week later, my worst fears were confirmed. Lily came home from a day with Grandma looking pale and disoriented. Within hours, she developed a rash and began vomiting. In the emergency room, the doctor, a colleague I trusted, ordered a comprehensive toxicology screen at my insistent request. We found traces of benzodiazepines, he told me privately, his expression grave. In a child this age, without a prescription. Cora, I have to ask, is there anyone who might have access to these medications and to your daughter? The room seemed to spin around me as the pieces fell into horrifying place. My mother, I whispered. My mother is poisoning my child. Absolutely not, Drew said firmly, packing his suitcase for our planned Christmas trip to his parents in Ohio. Your accusation is insane, Cora. Your mother? Poisoning our daughter? Based on what? Some pill bottles in the trash that could be her own medications? A tox screen that could be contaminated or misinterpreted? The doctor confirmed it. Drew. My voice rose despite my efforts to stay calm. Benzodiazepines. Sedatives. Exactly matching the symptoms Lily described. Kids pick up medications all the time. She probably found something at school or in a friend's house. I stared at him incredulously. You think our 7-year-old is finding and taking random pills from friends? That's your explanation? Drew zipped his suitcase with unnecessary force. It makes more sense than accusing your mother of deliberately drugging our daughter. Martha has been nothing but supportive since Lily was born. Too supportive, I insisted. Too involved. Too controlling. This is ridiculous. He shook his head. We're spending Christmas with my family as planned. End of discussion. I stood my ground. I'm taking Lily to Mom's for Christmas Eve. Just for a few hours. Why would you take her there if you actually believe this crazy theory? Because I need proof. Definitive proof that you can't dismiss. My heart pounded as I committed to this course of action. If I'm wrong, I'll admit it, and we can all move forward. If I'm right, we'll deal with that reality. Drew stared at me for a long moment. Fine, go play detective on Christmas Eve. Lily and I will leave for my parents on Christmas morning as planned. That night, I lay awake, forming my plan. I would not allow Lily to consume anything at Mom's house. I would keep my phone ready to document anything suspicious. I would create a distraction if necessary to protect my daughter. The next morning, I sat Lily down for a serious talk. We're going to Grandma's for Christmas Eve, I explained gently. Her face fell. Do I have to? Just for a little while. But we need a special code word, just between us. If anything makes you feel uncomfortable or scared, or if Grandma offers you any food or drink that seems unusual, you say Sparkle Snowman. Can you remember that? Sparkle Snowman, she repeated. Like a secret spy code? Exactly like that, I said, forcing a smile. And if you say it, I'll know exactly what to do. As we drove to Mom's house that afternoon, memories of childhood Christmases flooded back. The perfectly decorated tree with ornaments arranged by color and size. The precisely wrapped gifts with not a ribbon out of place. The meticulous dinner schedule written down to the minute. 3:28 p.m. Serve hot chocolate. 3:45 p.m. Open first presents. 4:15 p.m. Begin dinner preparations. Any deviation from Mom's schedule would trigger her tight smile and clipped voice. Signs I learned early meant disapproval. As a child, I'd internalized the message, perfect or worthless. No middle ground existed. Mom's house looked like a Christmas card when we arrived, twinkling lights outlining every window, a wreath with a perfect red bow, fake snow sprayed in artistic patterns on the windows. Inside, the pine tree reached nearly to the ceiling, decorated in a coordinated theme of gold and burgundy. There's my girls, Mom exclaimed, pulling Lily into a tight hug that lasted just a beat too long. She wore a festive sweater with reindeer, her silver hair neatly styled, looking every bit the ideal grandmother. I've been waiting all day. Everything's ready. The house smelled of cinnamon and pine. Christmas music played softly, and the table was already set with the good china. Perfect, controlled, orchestrated joy. Can I get you some hot chocolate, Lily? Grandma made it special, just how you like it. I'll help, I said quickly, following Mom into the kitchen where she had 3 mugs already prepared. No need, dear. I have everything under control. She lifted the mugs onto a tray. You know I always manage Christmas perfectly. I watched as she turned to the counter, her back to me, and reached for something in her sweater pocket. A small vial appeared in her hand. With practiced efficiency, she added several drops to one of the mugs, stirring quickly. My heart hammered against my ribs. I wanted to scream, to grab Lily and run, but I forced myself to remain calm. Evidence. I needed indisputable evidence. When Mom carried the tray into the living room, I followed closely. She handed Lily the doctored mug with a warm smile. Careful, sweetheart. It's hot. Blow on it first. Before Lily could take a sip, I deliberately bumped Mom's elbow, causing hot chocolate to spill across the coffee table. Oh, I'm so sorry. I exclaimed with exaggerated concern. Let me clean that up. Mom's reaction was instantaneous and disproportionate. Her face contorted with anger. Cora, you've ruined everything. That was Lily's special treat. It's just hot chocolate, Mom. I can make more. It's not the same, she snapped, then quickly composed herself when she noticed Lily's wide eyes. I mean, Grandma made this batch with extra love. But it's fine. I'll make more. As Mom stalked back to the kitchen, Lily tugged my sleeve. Sparkle snowman, she whispered. The afternoon crawled by with excruciating slowness. Mom's initial burst of anger had settled into a tense pleasantness, but I noticed how her eyes followed Lily's every movement, how her smile never quite reached her eyes. I kept Lily close, intervening whenever Mom suggested taking her to another room or giving her a treat. Let's all stay together, I'd say cheerfully. It's Christmas Eve, after all. Each time, Mom's smile would tighten fractionally. By 4:30, her hands had developed a slight tremor, and she kept checking her watch. It's time for dessert, she announced after dinner, her voice overly bright. I've made your favorite, Lily. Chocolate mousse, with whipped cream stars. I'll help serve, I volunteered. No. The word came out sharp before Mom softened her tone. No thank you, dear. This is Grandma's special tradition. I followed her into the kitchen anyway, pretending to get water. Mom stood at the counter with 3 dessert plates, her back to me. I quietly took out my phone and began recording. On the marble countertop sat 6 identical-looking chocolate mousses in crystal dishes. Mom reached into her pocket and withdrew the same small vial I'd seen earlier. With methodical precision, she unscrewed the cap and carefully added several drops to one of the mousses, stirring it with a small spoon until no trace remained. My stomach clenched as she arranged whipped cream stars on top, concealing her actions with the perfect Christmas garnish. She placed that specific dish on a snowman-patterned plate, Lily's favorite. I slipped my phone back into my pocket, evidence secured, and returned to the dining room before Mom noticed. When she emerged with the dessert tray, her hands were steady again, her expression serene. Here we are. Special treats for special people. She placed the snowman plate directly in front of Lily. This one's just for you, sweetheart. Thank you, Grandma, Lily said automatically, eyeing the dessert with uncertainty. It looks delicious, Mom, I said, watching as she distributed the remaining plates. Why don't we all take a bathroom break before dessert? Lily, come with me, honey. In the bathroom, I locked the door and knelt in front of my daughter. Lily, when we go back, I'm going to switch your dessert with mine, okay? Don't eat anything until I do that. Her lower lip trembled. Grandma will be mad. Let me worry about Grandma. This is important. When we returned, Mom was waiting impatiently. The mousse will lose its texture if we wait too long. Sorry, just girl talk, I said lightly, sitting down beside Lily. As Mom turned to adjust a Christmas decoration, I quickly switched our plates. Aren't you going to try your dessert, Lily? Mom urged. I made it especially for you. I took a bite from Lily's original plate. This is delicious, Mom. You've outdone yourself. Her eyes narrowed slightly, watching me eat what was meant for Lily. I pretended to enjoy it while actually tucking most of it into a napkin on my lap. Meanwhile, I encouraged Lily to just play with her dessert, pushing it around the plate. Not hungry, sweetie? Mom asked, her voice tight. Just saving room for Santa's cookies, I answered for her. We sat in the living room after dessert, the Christmas tree lights casting colorful shadows across the room. Mom grew increasingly agitated as the evening progressed, checking her watch repeatedly. You don't seem well, Cora, she finally said. You look flushed. Perhaps you should lie down. I'm fine, Mom. I insist. You work too hard. Rest while Lily and I have our special grandmother time. I'd rather stay here with both of you. Mom's pleasant mask slipped for an instant. Lily and I have a Christmas tradition. Don't we, sweetheart? Grandma gives you your special present upstairs. Lily's small hand found mine, squeezing tight. She leaned close to my ear. Sparkle snowman, she whispered, fear evident in her voice. I looked up to see Mom watching us, her face a mask of benevolent grandmotherly love, but her eyes were cold, calculating, and in her hand, partially concealed by her sweater, was the small glass vial. I think we should all stay together, I said firmly. Nonsense, Mom replied, her voice hardening as she stood. Lily, come with Grandma. I have something special just for you upstairs. She reached for my daughter's hand, but Lily shrank back against me. I want to stay with Mommy. Something in Mom's expression changed then. A flash of raw frustration breaking through her perfect grandmother facade. Lily, come here now. Her voice was no longer gentle. Grandma knows what's best for you. I stood, placing myself between them. She's staying with me, Mom. That's when I saw it clearly. The same vial from before, now fully visible in my mother's hand. She wasn't even trying to hide it anymore. What's in that vial, Mom? I asked, my voice steadier than I felt. The room fell silent, except for the cheerful Christmas music still playing in the background, a jarring counterpoint to the tension filling the space. Mom's fingers tightened around the small glass container. It's nothing, she said dismissively. Just some herbal drops for Lily's wellness. Then, you won't mind if I take a look? I held out my hand. Mom clutched the vial to her chest. You always were too curious, Cora. Always questioning, never trusting my judgment. Every instinct screamed at me to grab Lily and run, but I needed to handle this carefully. Evidence. Confession. Something Drew couldn't dismiss. Something that would protect Lily legally in the future. What kind of herbs exactly? I pressed, keeping my voice conversational, while I slipped my hand into my pocket to activate my phone's recording again. Various things. Nothing you'd understand. Mom's smile returned, but it didn't reach her eyes. I've been giving these to Lily for months. They help calm her overactive tendencies. My blood ran cold at this casual admission. You've been drugging my daughter for months? Without my knowledge or consent? Not drugging, she corrected sharply. Helping. Managing. Just like I did with you. The room seemed to tilt beneath my feet. With me? You were such a difficult child. So emotional, so defiant. The doctors were useless with their ridiculous diagnoses. Just a spirited child, they said. Her laugh was bitter. I knew better. As a pharmacist, I had access to what you really needed. The pieces of my childhood suddenly realigned. The inexplicable fatigue, the missing hours, the foggy memories. You drugged me as a child? Mom waved her hand dismissively. Don't be so dramatic. I helped you. And now I'm helping Lily. She's showing the same troubling signs you did. While keeping eye contact with Mom, I discreetly texted Jenna under the table. Red Bird. Our emergency code, established after the hospital toxicology results. She would understand immediately. Mom, I said carefully, what exactly is in that vial? A mother's remedy. Her voice took on a rehearsed quality, as though she'd justified this to herself many times. Just a mild sedative, perfectly safe in the right dosage. Lily is much more manageable afterward, much happier. I'm doing you a favor, Cora. I needed to keep her talking until help arrived. How do you get these medications? Your pharmacy license was suspended 3 years ago. This was a guess based on her sudden retirement, but her flinch told me I'd hit the mark. I have colleagues who understand my needs, she said stiffly. Medical professionals who respect my expertise. My mind raced. If Mom had been systematically drugging Lily, there would be evidence throughout the house. Is that the only medication you give her? Something flickered across Mom's face. Pride, perhaps, at her own cleverness. Different situations require different approaches. Sometimes she needs focus for her schoolwork. Sometimes she needs rest. Sometimes she needs to simply be quiet and appreciate her grandmother's efforts. Each word drove the knife deeper into my heart. My own mother, deliberately drugging my child, experimenting with different medications for different effects. And I had let it happen, had delivered Lily into her hands week after week. Why, Mom? Why would you do this? She straightened, indignation replacing her momentary vulnerability. Because you're raising her wrong. All this freedom, this self-expression nonsense. Children need structure, discipline. They need someone with wisdom to make their decisions. Like you decided for me? The words felt torn from my throat, drugging me instead of letting me be who I was. I made you successful, she snapped. Look at you. A respected nurse, a good family. You think that would have happened if I'd let you run wild with your emotions? I noticed Lily shrinking further into the couch, her eyes wide with fear as she watched the grandmother she loved transform before her. Lily, sweetheart, I said calmly. Go get your coat, okay? She's not going anywhere, Mom said, stepping toward Lily. We haven't finished our Christmas tradition. I moved to block her path. Don't touch my daughter. For a moment, we stood facing each other, the festive room at odds with the confrontation unfolding within it. Then Mom's face changed, softening into the loving grandmother mask again. Cora, dear, you're overreacting. Let's all calm down. Perhaps you need something to relax you. I have just the thing. She reached toward her pocket again, but I caught her wrist. No more, Mom. No more drugs. No more secrets. No more control. Her mask shattered completely. You ungrateful girl. After everything I've done for you, who watched Lily while you built your precious career? Who made sure she was properly behaved when you couldn't be bothered to discipline her? Who has sacrificed everything for this family? Sacrificed? I echoed in disbelief. You've been poisoning my child. I've been improving her, Mom shouted, all pretense abandoned. Just like I improved you. Do you think your little brain could have managed nursing school without my help? Do you think you could have controlled your ridiculous emotional outbursts without my interventions? Everything good in your life came from my guidance. Each word struck like physical blows, rearranging my understanding of my entire childhood, my development, my sense of self. How much of me was really me, and how much was chemically altered by the woman standing before me? Lily began to cry softly, and the sound broke through my shocked paralysis. Nothing mattered now, except getting her to safety. We're leaving, I said firmly, reaching for Lily's hand. Mom moved with surprising speed, trying to pull Lily toward her. She stays with me. You're an unfit mother. You always have been. Let go of her. I pulled Lily behind me. She needs me. Mom's voice had risen to a shriek. You're ruining her just like you're ruining yourself. I heard a car door slam outside. Help was coming. It's over, Mom, I said quietly. The police are on their way. Her eyes widened in genuine shock, then narrowed in calculation. Police? Don't be absurd. This is a family matter. Child endangerment isn't a family matter. Illegal possession and administration of controlled substances isn't a family matter. No one will believe you, she hissed. Who would believe a grandmother would harm her own grandchild? They'll think you're crazy, paranoid, unfit. They'll believe the toxicology report. They'll believe the recordings I've made today. They'll believe the physical evidence. I gestured to the vial still clutched in her hand. Mom's face drained of color. You've been spying on me? In my own home? Then, bizarrely, she laughed. You think you're so clever, just like when you were little. Always thinking you could outsmart me. The doorbell rang, its cheerful chime incongruous with the moment. That will be the police, I said quietly. Mom's expression cycled rapidly through shock, rage, and then, most disturbingly, a calculated calm. She smoothed her Christmas sweater, tucked the vial into her pocket, and arranged her features into the perfect concerned grandmother. This is all a terrible misunderstanding, she said pleasantly, as though our confrontation had never happened. I'll explain everything. As she moved toward the door, I grabbed Lily's hand and whispered, Stay right beside me, no matter what. Then I reached into my pocket for my phone, making sure the recording was safely saved. The moment of truth had arrived, and there would be no going back to the perfect family facade ever again. Mom opened the door with her warmest smile. "Officer, how lovely to see you on Christmas Eve. Is there something I can help you with?" Two police officers stood on the porch, looking serious despite the festive holiday. Behind them, I saw Jenna's car parked at the curb, and relief flooded through me. My friend had understood the emergency code and had come with reinforcements. "Mrs. Stevens?" The female officer stepped forward. "I'm Officer Taylor. This is Officer Ramirez. We received a report of concern about a child's welfare at this address." "A child welfare concern? On Christmas? How absurd." Mom laughed lightly. "My daughter and granddaughter are just visiting for the holidays. Everything is perfectly fine." Officer Taylor's gaze shifted to where Lily and I stood in the living room doorway. "Ma'am, are you the one who made the report?" Before I could answer, Mom cut in. "My daughter has been under tremendous stress lately, working too hard, neglecting her family obligations. I'm afraid she's becoming rather paranoid." "That's not true," I said firmly, stepping forward with Lily's hand still firmly in mine. "Officers, I have reason to believe my mother has been administering unprescribed medications to my 7-year-old daughter without my knowledge or consent. I have evidence." Mom's pleasant expression didn't waver, but her eyes hardened. "Officers, as you can see, my daughter is very upset. Perhaps we should discuss this privately? The child doesn't need to hear such nonsense on Christmas Eve." Officer Ramirez knelt to Lily's level. "Hi there. Would it be okay if Officer Taylor here took you outside to see the police car? Maybe even turn on the lights for you?" Lily looked up at me questioningly. "It's okay, sweetheart," I assured her. "Officer Taylor will stay right with you, and I'll be right here, I promise." After Lily reluctantly left with Officer Taylor, Officer Ramirez's demeanor changed subtly. "Mrs. Stevens, your daughter has made some serious allegations. Do you have any prescription medications in the house?" "Of course I do. I'm 65 years old and a former pharmacist. I have blood pressure medication, cholesterol medication, the usual things for a woman my age." Her voice was calm, reasonable. "Do you have any medications that weren't prescribed to you? Sedatives? Benzodiazepines?" Mom's smile became strained. "Certainly not. That would be illegal, and I respect the law." "Mrs. Stevens," I interrupted, "you just admitted to giving Lily mild sedatives to make her more manageable. You said you've been doing it for months." "I said no such thing," Mom replied coolly. "I believe the stress of the holidays is affecting your memory, Cora." I pulled out my phone. I recorded our conversation. For the first time, real fear flashed across Mom's face. Officer Ramirez held out his hand. "May I?" I nodded and played the recording. Mom's voice filled the room, clear and unmistakable. "Just a mild sedative, perfectly safe in the right dosage. Lily is much more manageable afterward, much happier." As more of the conversation played, including her admission of drugging me as a child, Mom's carefully constructed facade began to crumble. Her hands trembled, and the pleasant smile slipped from her lips. "That's been edited," she said desperately when the recording ended. "She's manipulated my words." "Mrs. Stevens," Officer Ramirez said firmly, "I need you to empty your pockets, please. This is ridiculous. This is my home. You have no right." "Ma'am, based on what I've just heard, I have reasonable suspicion that you may possess controlled substances. Please empty your pockets, or I will need to detain you while we obtain a warrant." Mom looked from the officer to me, her expression hardening into something I'd never seen before, a cold, calculating hatred. "You've always been ungrateful," she said quietly. "Everything I did was for your own good, for Lily's good." "Drugging a child is never for their good," I replied, holding her gaze. With a jerky motion, Mom reached into her pocket and withdrew the glass vial, slamming it onto the coffee table. "Fine, take it. It's just melatonin and herbal supplements." "You're making something out of nothing." Officer Ramirez carefully picked up the vial with a gloved hand. "We'll have this tested." He turned to me. "Is there anything else we should know about?" I took a deep breath. The hospital found benzodiazepines in my daughter's system last week after she spent the day here. And I believe there may be more medications in the house. That's a lie, Mom burst out. You're trying to take Lily away from me. You've always been jealous of our special bond. Mrs. Stevens, please calm down, Officer Ramirez said. But Mom was beyond listening. She's the unfit mother, not me. Who watches Lily 3 days a week while she works? Who makes sure she's properly fed and behaved? Who gives her structure and discipline? Certainly not Cora with her permissive parenting. By discipline, do you mean drugging her into compliance? I asked quietly. Mom lunged toward me suddenly, her face contorted with rage. You, ungrateful, manipulative girl, after everything I've done for you. Officer Ramirez stepped between us quickly. Mrs. Stevens, I need you to step back and calm down immediately. Instead, Mom tried to push past him. This is my house. You have no right. Cora is lying. She's always been a difficult, emotional child. Mrs. Stevens, please put your hands behind your back, Officer Ramirez said firmly, taking her arm. Get your hands off me. Don't you know who I am in this community? I was head pharmacist at Memorial for 30 years. I volunteer at the hospital. I'm a respected member of this town. As Officer Ramirez began reciting Miranda rights, Mom's face crumpled, the anger giving way to something more calculated, tears. Please, she sobbed, suddenly looking every bit the frail elderly woman. It's Christmas Eve. My granddaughter is here. Can't we discuss this tomorrow, after the holiday? I'm sorry, but that's not possible, Officer Ramirez said, though his tone had softened slightly. Mom's gaze locked with mine over his shoulder, tears streaming down her face. Cora, please, don't do this. Not on Christmas. Think of Lily. Think of the family. For a moment, old patterns of guilt and obligation tugged at me. This was my mother, after all. The woman who had raised me, who had shaped me. Was I really going to have her arrested on Christmas Eve? Then I thought of Lily, drowsy, confused, manipulated by someone who should have protected her. I thought of my own childhood, the gaps in my memory, the constant feeling that something wasn't right. I am thinking of family, I said quietly. That's why I can't let this continue. Mom's expression changed once more, the tears vanishing as quickly as they had appeared. You'll regret this, she said coldly. When people hear what you've done, turning on your own mother at Christmas, they'll see you for what you really are. As Officer Ramirez led her from the room, Mom called over her shoulder. Check her medicine cabinet. She's on antidepressants. She's unstable. Once they were outside, I sank onto the couch, adrenaline draining away, leaving me shaking and nauseated. The perfect Christmas tree loomed over me, its cheerful lights now seeming garish and false. Through the window, I could see Lily sitting in Officer Taylor's patrol car, lights flashing, her small face illuminated in red and blue. Beyond that, Mom was being helped into another police car, her silver hair catching the Christmas lights from neighboring houses. The perfect family image was shattered. But in its place, something real might finally have a chance to grow. 6 months passed before I could look at Christmas decorations without feeling sick. 6 months of police investigations, medical evaluations, therapy appointments, and court hearings. 6 months of rebuilding trust with my daughter and my husband. The evidence against Mom was overwhelming once police searched her home. In a locked cabinet in her basement, they found dozens of prescription medications, many with the labels removed. Her computer contained meticulous records of what she had given to Lily, and when, along with detailed observations of the effects, as if my daughter had been her personal test subject. Most disturbing were the old journals dating back to my childhood, documenting 20 years of similar treatments administered to me. Reading those pages was like discovering a stranger had been controlling my development from the shadows, calibrating my moods and behavior through careful chemical manipulation. Did you know? I asked Drew one night, after a particularly difficult therapy session. Did you ever suspect something wasn't right about my childhood? He took my hand across the kitchen table. I knew your relationship with your mother was complicated, that you were anxious around her, that you had these gaps in your childhood memories. He shook his head. But drugging? No, I never imagined that. I'm so sorry I didn't believe you about Lily. His apology was sincere, but rebuilding trust took time. We attended counseling together, learning to communicate more openly and to validate each other's concerns without dismissal. Lily had the hardest journey. The psychological impact of being drugged by someone she loved and trusted ran deep. Nightmares, anxiety around food and drinks, and fear of being separated from me became our new normal for a while. Her therapist, Dr. Winters, specialized in childhood trauma and approached her healing with gentle patience. She's making remarkable progress, Dr. Winters told me, during one of our parent consultations. Children are resilient, especially when they have secure attachments to help them process trauma. Your quick action prevented years of additional damage. Those words became a lifeline on difficult days, a reminder that despite my failure to see the danger sooner, I had ultimately protected my daughter. As for Mom, the court-mandated psychiatric evaluation revealed what those close to her had missed for decades: an untreated personality disorder with controlling tendencies, exacerbated in recent years by the early stages of dementia. Your mother has a distorted perception of care and protection, her psychiatrist explained during a consultation the court had ordered. In her mind, controlling others through medication was an expression of love and responsibility, not harm. Understanding the clinical aspects helped intellectually, but emotionally, forgiveness remained a complex, ongoing process. Mom was sentenced to 5 years probation with mandatory psychiatric treatment, her pharmacy license permanently revoked, and a restraining order preventing unsupervised contact with Lily. During her sentencing hearing, Mom appeared frail and diminished, nothing like the commanding presence that had dominated my life. When given the opportunity to speak, she expressed no remorse, still insisting she had acted out of love and superior knowledge. "I only wanted what was best," she said, looking directly at me. "Someday you'll understand." I didn't visit her in the psychiatric facility, where she was initially placed. Instead, I focused on healing my family and myself, on discovering who I was without the chemical management that had shaped my formative years. Summer brought unexpected gifts. Lily's nightmares became less frequent. She began sleeping in her own room again. Her laughter returned, genuine and uninhibited. Drew and I found our way back to each other, our partnership stronger for having weathered the storm together. One evening in July, as we watched Lily playing in the sprinkler in our backyard, Drew squeezed my hand. "You saved her, you know. You trusted your instincts despite everyone, including me, telling you that you were overreacting." "I almost didn't," I admitted. "I nearly convinced myself I was being paranoid. But you didn't. That's what matters." In August, I received a letter from Mom's new assisted living facility. Her doctor had encouraged her to write as part of her therapy. The envelope sat unopened on my desk for 3 days before I found the courage to read it. The letter was brief, the handwriting shakier than I remembered. "Cora, the doctors here tell me I was wrong, that my methods of helping you and Lily were harmful. I find this difficult to accept, but I am trying to understand. My intentions were always good, even if my actions were not. Perhaps someday we can speak again. Your mother, Martha." No explicit apology, but a tiny crack in the wall of certainty that had defined her for so long. It wasn't much, but it was something. That December, as the first anniversary of that terrible Christmas Eve approached, we decided to reclaim the holiday on our own terms. We would create new traditions, ones built on honesty and genuine connection. "Can we still have Christmas cookies?" Lily asked as we discussed our plans. "Absolutely," I assured her. "And you can help make them." "And can I pour my own hot chocolate?" The question held more significance than its simple words suggested. It was about trust, autonomy, and safety. "Yes," I said firmly. You can pour your own hot chocolate, always. On Christmas Eve, instead of forcing ourselves through uncomfortable family obligations, we volunteered at the local shelter, serving meals and distributing gifts. Watching Lily confidently hand out presents to children her age, I saw the resilience that had carried her through the past year. Later that night, as we hung ornaments on our deliberately imperfect tree, the doorbell rang unexpectedly. I'll get it, Drew offered, returning moments later with a small, professionally wrapped package. It's from your mother, he said quietly. It was delivered by her social worker. The box sat untouched while we finished decorating. After Lily went to bed, I finally opened it, Drew beside me for support. Inside was a silver locket I recognized from my childhood, a family heirloom that had belonged to my grandmother. A note read simply, "For Lily, when you think she's ready, some family legacies are worth preserving, others are not. I'm learning to know the difference." I closed the box, unexpectedly moved. Not by the gift itself, which Lily wouldn't receive until I was certain it carried no emotional strings, but by the acknowledgement it represented. The recognition that some cycles needed to end. The following morning, Lily woke us with excited bouncing on our bed. "It's Christmas. Can we open presents?" As I watched her tear through wrapping paper with unrestrained joy, I realized something fundamental had shifted. For the first time in my life, I wasn't measuring our holiday against some impossible standard of perfection. We were messy, authentic, still healing, and completely wonderfully real. Drew caught my eye across the room and smiled, understanding without words the significance of this moment. Later, as we prepared our imperfect but joyful Christmas dinner together as a family, I thought about the journey of the past year. From the moment I saw that vial in my mother's hand to this new beginning, we had traveled a painful but necessary path. I had learned to trust my instincts as a mother, to stand firm in the face of manipulation, to protect my child even when it meant confronting uncomfortable truths. Drew had learned to listen without dismissal, to recognize that sometimes the seemingly impossible was reality. And Lily, brave Lily, had learned that she had a voice worth hearing and parents who would believe her. As for Mom, her journey continued in a facility where she could receive the help she had needed for decades. Our relationship might never fully heal, but understanding had replaced confusion, and boundaries had replaced blind obligation. That night, after Lily was asleep surrounded by new toys, Drew and I sat by the Christmas tree lights, reflecting on the year behind and the future ahead. "Do you think we'll ever have a normal Christmas?" he asked. I considered the question carefully. "I think we'll have something better than normal. We'll have something real." He raised his glass to mine. "To reality, then. Messy, imperfect, and true." "To reality," I agreed, "and to trusting ourselves enough to see it." Have you ever had to make a difficult decision to protect someone you love, even when others didn't understand? I'd love to hear your stories in the comments below. Sometimes the greatest act of love is setting boundaries and standing firm in the face of manipulation. If this story resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear this message. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and I wish you the strength to always trust your instincts when it comes to protecting those you love.